I'm gonna hold your hand when I say this. Today is the start of yet another crazy 6-month cycle of challenges, chaos, endings, and especially new beginnings. We are seeing the cosmic shift that you have been waiting for. This is going to be the closing of karmic cycles, the ending of toxic relationships, the push into your highest self. As Saturn, the planet of karmic connections, timelines, your future, as well as practical, tangible plans, is moving back over into Pisces. This is a retrograde which will last from now and will be re-entering Aries on February 13th of 2026. This transit is absolutely important, especially for you mutable signs, but depending on where Pisces is in your chart, this is going to greatly impact your love life, your work life, your connections, your friendships, your spiritual realm, especially being in the intuitive and dreamy sign of Pisces. Let's talk about Saturn. Saturn is obviously the natural ruler of Capricorn. Let me just say, Capricorn is the cosmic manifester. Saturn is all about manifestation. And with Saturn retrograde, what you do is you take on a lot of introspective energy. It's a lot of healing, a lot of learning. And when it comes to lessons that the universe is throwing at you, karmic cycles that you have been stuck in, Saturn retrograde in Pisces is going to be the last hurrah of this era. Pisces as well is ruled by Neptune. So this Neptune-Saturn connected energy, which by the way, Neptune will also be retrograding back into Pisces soon. This connection is focusing on your dreams, your wishes, your desires, as well as endings, because Pisces is the 12th sign of the zodiac. With Saturn over in Pisces, this is going to be the karmic shift that you need. Let me just say, mutable signs, Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and of course Pisces, you guys are going to be hit the hardest with this energy. And with this coming right before our total full moon lunar eclipse in Pisces, this is also going to be hitting you pretty heavily. And I will just say, exes may come back into your life. You may be thinking about an ex-friend. You may be thinking about going back home. You may be thinking about moving again. And I'll just say, moving in a realm of closure is not necessarily a bad idea, because this 6-month cycle, although lots of temptation is going to come forward to get back together, follow these karmic cycles, follow these toxic patterns, this is about finally learning your lesson. And it's going to be forceful, okay? Saturn retrograde in Pisces, once it moves back into Aries in 2026, you mutable signs are going to be out of this era of craziness, and you're going to be out of this era of pausing your karmic blessings because you've been stuck in these karmic cycles. One thing I will say for a lot of you zodiac signs, not just you mutable signs, but Saturn over in Pisces is also very much focusing on intuitive introspection. Finally trusting yourself to actually take action. And what's amazing about Saturn retrograde over in Pisces is a dreamer. You're thinking big, because Saturn over in Pisces, it may have caused a couple of unrealistic expectations. It may have brought forward a couple of unrealistic goals, but this retrograde back into Pisces, once again, after Saturn moved over into Aries, is now going to allow you to reflect, change these goals, understand what was realistic, what wasn't realistic, what was a delusion and illusion. The veil is going to be lifted. So let's lay it out for each of you signs, what you're going to be going through with your rising sign and what house this is impacting. Starting off with Pisces. Pisces, obviously, Saturn is going to be retrograding back over into your first house if you're a Pisces rising, or of course, make sure you check out if you're a late degree Pisces rising, because this could be also entering over into your 12th house. This is something that is incredibly important for you, especially in the realm of self-preservation, and really doing a lot of healing from who you were in the past. Obviously, this also connects to what other placements you have in Pisces, but this Saturn retrograde in Pisces, focused on the self, focused on your first house of self, what this is going to do is this is going to allow you to finally say goodbye to a lot of the negative mindsets and the fear and the anxiety that you've had, especially relating to these big dreams that you have. Yes, yes, Saturn is going to be realistic. And one thing about Saturn over in Aries for you Pisces risings is this allows for karmic growth. This allows for new connection and tangible plans to be coming forward in a realm of finances and self-value. So this current situation here is you discovering who you really are and finally learning the lessons, moving on from the anxiety and controlling a realm of your life that you have felt has been completely out of control, especially with this Saturn connection over in Pisces. If you also are in your Saturn return right now with Saturn in Pisces, this has been a very hard couple of years. And now things are going to be closing off those cycles and you're going to be entering into this new era of growth and prosperity. Aries risings, this is taking on your 12th house if you're an Aries rising, and Saturn will be leaving your sign. Saturn is going to be looking back at endings and new beginnings. When it comes to the 12th house, I of course am looking at possibly deaths in the family. I'm looking at deaths of relationships, possibly a job loss, because this is all about endings, sorrows, struggles. And with Saturn getting ready to enter back into Aries in 2026, that is going to be the time for you where you are completely upheavaling your life. I'm seeing possible movement. I'm seeing possible changes in relationships. And because of this, you're going to go through one of the most emotional periods of your lifetime. But this is going to be the karmic switch that you need to actually become the person you were meant to be. No longer are you going to be following this realm of what other people's want. No more people pleasing. And of course, when Saturn gets ready to enter back into Aries after this karmic learning lessons, which you will finally learn, I will say, this endings and new beginnings will cause a lot of emotional distress, emotional turmoil. But what this is going to do is up your spiritual level into a realm of self-connection, communication with the self. Plus, remember, you also have Chiron over in Aries right now. So with Chiron in your sign, that Saturn over in the 12th is also going to be doing a lot of healing once it moves back over into Aries. And yes, a Saturn return is also some of the worst periods of your entire life, but what it does is it brings necessary growth, a learning of karmic lessons, and it completely shifts your life into what you are meant to be. Typically, people go through 2 Saturn returns in their life, and with this upcoming Aries Saturn return, which we already kind of got a glimpse of just now, this is going to be showing the chaos and the craziness that will lay out your life into success, growth, love, and connection. Taurus risings. Let's take a look for you Taurus risings, because this is going to be hitting your 11th house once again. And the 11th house is all about friendships, connections, relationships, dreams, wishes, desires. The 11th house here, which is naturally ruled by Aquarius, in connection with Saturn and Pisces, maybe you've been feeling like people have been deceiving you. And this Saturn retrograde through Pisces once again is going to reveal those deceptions. And those deceptions being revealed, you're going to see the truth in what people are saying to you. You're going to see the truth in what you really want in your friendships. You're going to find that you are not being valued as heavily as you believe to be valued, as heavily as you need to be valued. And with this 11th house, we're also looking at dreams, wishes, desires. So we're looking at creative connections. We're looking at innovation. And when it comes to this 11th house with Saturn, when Saturn retrogrades through, you're going to take a look at the plans that have failed, and you're finally going to be using them to actually make a tangible plan towards bringing these dreams into reality. And then after this 6 months, once Saturn re-enters over into Aries, you're going to be taking action of these endings and new beginnings, which will start off a new realm, possibly of business partnerships, possibly of creative growth, possibly of creative connections. It becomes a realm of authority and endings in authority, self-undoing with authority, learning about yourself, and you being a Taurus rising, pushing past your stubborn energy. Gemini risings. Now, you Gemini risings are going through major karmic shifts right now, especially because Uranus is currently over in Gemini, turning retrograde on September 6th. But this transit of Saturn through Pisces is hitting your 10th house of career and public image. And with Saturn retrograding through Pisces here, this is definitely quite possibly causing some endings of your jobs. This could be shifting you into a business of your own. This could be connecting you to a realm of more creative connection in business, especially with that Pisces energy, that dreaminess that you behold. But this Gemini rising energy connecting to Saturn and Pisces, which is also going to be a 90-degree square to Gemini, is a challenge for you. You mutable signs, like I said, Gemini, you're a mutable sign. You're going to be going through one of the most intense karmic challenges, especially when it comes to, you may think that you are losing your dream job. But when I say that Saturn is going to bring forward the actual truth of your desires because the veil will be lifted, because your illusions are going to be gone, this is your time to actually discover what you want to do with your life and put forward this realm of growth that will achieve your dreams, your wishes, desires, not just what you thought, not just what people have told you, not just trying to people please. You are really going to embrace the duality within you, Gemini. Now for you Cancer risings. You Cancer risings are getting hit in the realm of expansion. You Cancer risings with Saturn retrograding through Pisces, this is over in your 9th house. Let's take a look at education, expansion of knowledge, expansion of connections, because this 9th house is very based on you nurturing your realm of spiritual growth. I'm talking furthering a spiritual lesson. I'm seeing as well, maybe you gave up on a spiritual journey because you didn't feel like you were healing. You decided that you were going to regress. You decided that you were on the right path, but this Saturn retrograde is going to help you realize what your true path to success and enlightenment is. This Cancer energy, remember, we have Jupiter over in Cancer. Eventually, Saturn will be trine to this Jupiter in Cancer, and this connection of Jupiter in Cancer and this connection of Saturn in Pisces is leading you to the truth of your dreams, wishes, desires, and how you can truly expand in this realm of karmic growth. I will just say that the 9th house as well, when it comes to closing off karmic connections, you are going to be seeing yourself in a realm of total expansion. The 9th house is also the realm of travel. So looking over at this, you may find yourself moving. You may find yourself growing, taking a trip abroad, whether it's a short trip or a long trip. I am truly seeing that you will be doing some serious learning in this last hurrah of the 9th house. You're going to be especially seeing the lessons that the universe has sent to you about movement, especially if you've stayed in a place that you were not supposed to stay. The universe is going to let you know during this transit. Leo risings. Okay, my Leo risings, this is hitting your 8th house of death and rebirth. Saturn retrograding through the 8th house, you already went through so much rebirth over the last couple of years, specifically with Saturn in Pisces. Saturn has now entered over into Aries, which led into your 9th house, true expansion, true authority, true inner fire, passionate creativity. But this look back at Saturn retrograde in Pisces, this is going to be an incredibly emotional realm of tests, and this is going to be definitely taking a look at shared resources. I'm talking marriage, I'm talking connections, most specifically because we have that 8th house being ignited for you. When we look at the 8th house, if you're a Leo rising, this Pisces energy of dreams, wishes, and desires is also very connected to the spiritual realm, the occult. You're looking at a lot of tarot, astrology, and esoteric magic that will be leading you into a realm of deep growth and connection. What you are doing here is looking to your spirit guides, looking to the universe for guidance, and it is going to come to you without you having to do anything. I'll be honest with you, Leo risings, you are going to be connecting with your spiritual realm on a higher level than most of the other signs, but this energy with Saturn retrograding back into Pisces, especially getting ready for this eclipse and starting off yet another eclipse cycle, you are seeing the release of tension and the release of fear and expansion of your spiritual realm. You may be scared to explore things because you're nervous, you aren't sure where to go, but you are going to be exploring the unknown. And most specifically with this in the 8th house, you're exploring yourself the most, the darkest parts of yourself, and then you are finally going to be shifting away because the recognition, the introspection will help you let go of this crazy, toxic, karmic energy. Virgo risings. Okay, Virgo risings, you know that this Saturn energy is hitting your seventh house. So with Saturn hitting your seventh, this is all about partnerships, relationships, business partnerships, and Saturn retrograding through Pisces. I am definitely seeing you finally letting go of a toxic ex. I am finally seeing you letting go of a marriage, letting go of what no longer serves you. You Virgo risings, you will be in opposition to this Saturn retrograde in Pisces, and this is forceful karmic shifts. This is forceful karmic closure. And I will say the temptation will come. You're going to want to go back. You're going to want to see all the good. And you Virgo risings must resist. This Saturn retrograde in Pisces is going to be quite possibly filled with the most challenges for you as a mutable sign, as the opposition of Pisces. You are going to be connecting to yourself and changing the absolute most out of any of the zodiac signs. With this Saturn retrograde, of course, we're looking at karmic cycles, but the main thing that I'm also looking at here is finally taking tangible steps to leave these karmic cycles, to move forward in these karmic cycles, and be ready to open yourself up to new karmic cycles, because guess what? This is coming just before we have our second new moon in Virgo, which will be our partial solar eclipse in Virgo on September 21st. So starting off this transit, we have a good energy helping us in a realm of new beginnings. So you may even see these karmic closures coming way before the end of this transit in February of 2026. Now for you Libra risings. You Libra risings are getting hit in the sixth house. Your sixth house is of daily routines, and it's also of health and wellness. So let's take a look at your physical health, your mental health, your well-being, and your organization. This sixth house energy of Saturn retrograding through is showing that you've been kind of a mess, and it's time to heal from this. It's time to learn from this, and falling back into these old patterns will definitely come during this Saturn retrograde. You're going to be falling back, but you're finally going to be able to recognize the patterns that are holding you back from your health journey. I'm talking if you are trying to lose weight, if you are trying to just be healthier, gain more muscle, if you're trying to fix a specific condition that you're dealing with, now is the time that you are going to be introspecting, discovering what's truly the problem here, which in a lot of cases, you may be your own worst enemy. And you Libra risings, as of right now, we have Mars over in Libra, and with Mars in Libra starting off this transit, you can be starting by getting ready to take some real action, because you're finally going to be seeing the patterns coming back. You're finally going to be seeing the lows. And let me just say, with Saturn over in Aries, once that comes back, that questioning period of relationships, because it will be over in your seventh, is going to be even more chaotic than this right now. So if you use this power to your advantage, if you say, you know what, I'm going to go on this health journey, I'm going to go on this mental wellness, well-being journey, this is the time for you to avoid even more chaos when Saturn re-enters Aries in February of 2026. Next is you Scorpio risings. Okay, Scorpios, this is going to hit your fifth house, okay? Fifth house is going to be crazy karmic energy. Fifth house is all about creativity, self-expression, and casual relationships. So I'm talking situationships are coming back. You got to be closing off these situationships. But when it comes to self-expression, we're looking for you Scorpios at confidence, the veil being lifted, the deception and the lies that you have been told. You Scorpio, you have been falling for them with Saturn over in Pisces. And this retrograde has you focused on, oh my gosh, I can't believe I fell for this. I need to be more introspective. I need to be leaning into my more mysterious side, which is always searching for the truth. But Scorpio, you've been deceived with this Saturn and Pisces. And now this is the last hurrah where you are going to be seeing forceful closing of these cycles. This is going to be true karmic closure. And especially in the realm of the fifth house, I'm talking all of these creative blocks that you've dealt with. You will finally be moving onward. You will finally be expressing yourself authentically, and no longer will you be scared of expressing yourself authentically. Sagittarius risings. Okay, Sagittarius, you guys are getting hit in the fourth house. Home and family life is being impacted here. You are going through a period where your home connections, you have been struggling, especially over the past year and especially over the past 2 years with Saturn and Pisces. But this retrograde has you looking at, how can I change my home environment to make it better? I'm talking Saturn retrograde here. If you've experienced a loss in your family, if you've experienced a loss in a connection, if you felt like you just have not felt at home in your own space, this is the time for a karmic shift. This is a time for a cosmic shift, okay? This for you Sagittarius placements, obviously 90 degrees over to Pisces. So you have a challenge to move. This is the universe telling you, if you do not take action, I'm going to take action for you, or you are going to get stuck once again. And home and family life also embraces the connections with your closest family. I'm talking mom, dad, grandparents, siblings. And when it comes to these energies, if you've been feeling in a place where you have been disrespected, where you have not been valued, where you have not been taking on this realm of true love and connection with your family, this is the time to speak up. This fourth house energy also has you focused here on how you can take action to improve this situation. This cosmic shift is going to be incredibly helpful for you Sagittarius risings, especially if you are looking at changing your environment, possibly moving out to an apartment, possibly living on your own. If you are not feeling comfortable, now is the time to focus on that movement. And remember, Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter. Jupiter is over in Cancer, so self-preservation and self-nurture will be at the forefront of this transit. Next is you Capricorn risings. You Capricorn risings are taking this on in the third house. Third house is all about communication, connection, technology. And when it comes to the third house of communication, Saturn retrograding through Pisces has you focused on being absolutely more focused in manifestation and communicating authentically. Because when we talk about Pisces, when we talk about the veil being lifted, the delusions and the illusions being out of your mind, the dreaminess that often comes with Pisces, and you as a Capricorn rising being the cosmic manifest powerhouse, this is your time to really say, okay, I learned from these lessons. The veil is lifted now. I can see my true path, and I am going to communicate my path with those around me, with people around me. I'm going to take tangible steps towards this dream, towards my ambitions, which obviously you Capricorns are all about ambitions. And this is your time to truly embrace cosmic growth. And you Capricorn risings, I am obviously going to be seeing some serious manifestation coming once Saturn does station direct in Pisces. That movement, that growth, that self-undoing, especially when it comes to communication, the actual authentic communication, rather than falling behind, rather than pushing yourself back for the sake of others, is finally going to come forward. And you are really going to be manifesting, moving onward, improving your connections, and by improving these relationships that you have, especially when it comes to work life and when it comes to the realm of friendships and relationships. And lastly, for you Aquarius risings, we are seeing this in your second house, okay? You Aquarius risings, you are taking on a realm of financial growth, and you are taking on a realm of true connection to your inner value. When it comes to Saturn retrograding through Pisces, when Saturn was over in Pisces, you probably saw a very large growth in terms of work life, in terms of your financial realm, and maybe you have seen a dip recently. But when I say Saturn retrograde through Pisces has you focused on how you can actually reach that financial level that you've been pushing towards, because you learn from the lessons, you learn from the failed investments, you learn from the failed time investments, the innovations and the ideas that you've had that have not connected, which made you lose value in yourself, which made you lose that self-worth connection. This Saturn retrograde, it has you falling back and finally learning from these patterns. Rather than seeing yourself go deeper into a spiral, you are going to be entering into an area of growth and prosperity. And remember, over the next 6 months, Saturn will turn direct, and in 2026, while it is going through the energy of Pisces direct before February 13th, when it moves over into Aries, this is hitting you in a realm of true connection to your value, pushing your dreams. Saturn as well, when I talk about realistic energy, Saturn is all about realism, tangible steps. And Saturn in Pisces, when it's direct, your dreams are at the stars. There is no limit to your dreams. And you Aquarius, you're the innovator. You're the problem solver. So you're going to make it happen, especially before Saturn enters Aries in February of 2026. This was all of you rising signs. I want to say a huge thank you for all of you that joined me. Let me know your signs down below in the comments. This is going to be a major transit moving through this September, and this is going to be a major transit over the next 6 months, getting us prepped for our next eclipse season. And with with this eclipse season coming forward, this is obviously going to be way more intense, way more passionate, way more focused on endings and new beginnings. And this is definitely going to be pretty emotional. So I want you guys to claim the positive growth from this transit because yes, it's going to be testy. It's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be pushing you to your limits, but finally you are going to be able to push past everything that is pausing you from growing and becoming your highest, most enlightened self. So make sure you comment, claim it, you guys. And of course, let me know your zodiac signs. If you know your big three, let me know your big three. If you're in your Saturn return, I would love to know. And make sure you use this power during this transit.